So today I want to talk about doing the inner work on this journey and what that means. Hello everyone, I'm Annalisa and welcome back to my channel. So what does it mean to do the inner work on this twin flame journey? And most importantly, this is your spiritual awakening. So what does that mean for you? So it will look a little different for each person, each individual, each twin flame. When you met your twin flame, your core wounds were activated. So whatever your core wounds stem from, they could be abandonment, feeling abandoned as a child or teenager. They could be having fear. They also could be self-worth or self-esteem or feeling in lack, not being enough. So whatever your core wounds are, they will be triggered. And doing the inner work will revolve around your core wounds. And core wounds are usually suppressed throughout this lifetime. And sometimes core wounds also stem from generational wounds. And they could be subconscious. So these core wounds will come up and will get triggered because that was the role of your twin flame, to come in and trigger your wounds. Now, that doesn't seem fair, does it? But your soul knew that it was ready to be activated. This was the soul contract that you agreed to prior to becoming incarnated on Earth. And most twin flames do not remember this soul contract. And what happens is that from the soul contract, you were agreed to be activated by your twin flame, and thus you are here in this spiritual awakening to reconnect to your original DNA blueprint. So doing the inner work is going to be unique for each twin flame. And doing the inner work means that you are now having a higher state of consciousness. However, that doesn't happen in 2 days or 2 months. It does take time. Remember, this is a journey. So as you raise your consciousness, you become aware of the duality, right, that exists on this planet. The duality meaning we are programmed to believe that everything is separate from us. And what you will learn in this journey is that you're not separate from anything or anyone. And your twin flame is you, exactly you. They are within your soul frequency field. And you, the divine feminine, are responsible to balance the energetic field. And when you get triggered from your core wounds, the inner work becomes in learning what those triggers are, feeling the triggers, and then releasing them and alchemizing that energy into love. Yes, that sounds simple, but unfortunately, it's not quite as simple as it sounds. Again, this is a journey, so you have to allow yourself time. So how do you do that inner work? Let's go a little bit deeper into that. So it's going to look different again for each twin flame, each individual. And that could mean that you will gain a practice in meditation, because in meditation, you reach the quantum field and you begin connecting to the universe and to your own creator. This journey is about connecting to your creator more than you ever have had before, and having trust and surrendering. So doing the inner work means connecting to yourself, understanding you have a core wound, and then turning that into something positive. So meditation is one way you can do that. You could also do the inner work by just connecting to yourself in a different way. Perhaps you're someone that likes to be in nature, so you do the inner work while you're in nature. And what's important is that you have to be in solitude primarily to do the inner work. You can't do the inner work if you're around people and you're constantly being distracted. So doing the inner work means solitude, and people find solitude in many different fashions. For someone, it could be doing yoga and stretching out the body and releasing that way and connecting that way. It could be, for someone, it could be listening to quiet music, or it could be classical music, it could be jazz, it could be anything that you like. And some people play music, or maybe playing an instrument. It could be done through a guided meditation to bring you deeper into yourself. It could be done through sound therapy, or sound, not quite therapy, but sound meditation. So there are many different ways that you can connect to yourself and go deeper into yourself. But that is the inner work. You do the inner work by connecting to yourself and listening for the answers that come from within. Again, that sounds easy, but it's not as easy as it sounds, because it requires practice. It requires time that you have to allow and give to yourself. You have to fill your own cup first and realize that you are the creator. You are a co-creator with the universe, with the divine. So you can release the negative energies that you've been holding on to and alchemize into love. So those are some ways in how you do the inner work. And it is crucial to get to this point where you have some sort of practical routine that works for you. Some people like to sing, so maybe that is a way to release stored trauma, but you have to go within. You have to sit with yourself and go within. So whatever practice that looks like for you, even after that practice, you have to still go within. So if you're playing music, or you're doing art, or you're going for a walk, or you're doing yoga, those are beautiful ways to center, but going deep within and see what comes up for you. And perhaps that means you're going to have to cry it out, and let those energies be released, because that is how you go forward in this journey. And it isn't not only that your twin flame will trigger you, because if you're in separation, you're in full separation. That means you have had no contact with them. So there are others in your life that is going to trigger you. There are your family. There may be coworkers, people that you meet in the community. It could be anybody. You're walking down the street, or you're walking at a park and you meet someone, and that person triggers you. So whenever someone triggers you, again, not necessarily your twin flame, because remember, this is your awakening. So whoever and whatever triggers you, or even a pet that you have to release those triggers by figuring out why is it triggering you. For example, say I am walking down the street and I meet someone that I've never, or say I'm at a store and I'm buying something, right? Because a lot of people go to stores and buy things. Though a lot of people do online shopping too, right? In any case, you're at the store, you're at a checkout counter, and someone says to you, "Oh, it looks like you have something in your hair." And then you're looking in your hair and you brush it all off and you get all anxious and you're thinking that something is wrong, and maybe something is glue or something is stuck in your hair, and you get triggered, and it makes you agitated that this person acknowledged that they thought you had something in your hair, and that triggered you. So now what you need to do is, at some point when you go home, you'll have to think about why it is that you got anxious and somewhat agitated. What was it about that person that when she said you had something in your hair, you felt uncomfortable? So is it because they brought up something about you that you were not comfortable with. And what was that they brought up about you? Is it that you're not happy with the way you look? Or maybe you're not happy that someone confronted you and you weren't ready to talk to anyone. So whatever it is that triggered you, you have to dive deep into that. And once you feel it, then you release it and let it go. Now, does that mean that that trigger will never come up again? No, that means that that specific trigger you've dealt with. However, you might be triggered from someone else again, and you'll have to look at that again and see why it is that you're being triggered. So looking at all your triggers that come up at various stages in your life, in your daily life, and then figuring out why it's triggering you and releasing that. And that is the inner work, my friends. And again, this takes time, right? So allow yourself time to get into a routine, figure out what works for you, and begin alchemizing that energy into positive, into love, because ultimately that is what you are. You are love. So I hope this resonates with everyone. Feel free to comment below. I would love for you to make comments so I can reply. And if you need more support, feel free to visit my website. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, feel free to do that as well. Sending you so much love.